So multiple people keep asking me for an editing tutorial, so I'm gonna give you guys one. I'll be showing how to make sound design, visual effects, advanced text, and even some filters and effects that keep views on your video. So I'm gonna switch over to my PC and open up DaVinci Resolve.
Okay, so now I'm in DaVinci Resolve, and the first thing you want to do is come up here to Media Pool, and if this doesn't show up, make sure you have this selected. And what we're gonna do is right click, Timelines, create new timeline. It doesn't matter the name of the timeline, just click create. Before you add anything, after you do that, go to timeline settings, uncheck this, and change this to around either 60 or 50 frames per second. I'm gonna use 60 for this video. Alright, so now what you're gonna do is a keyboard shortcut for adding your videos is Control I. Go to one of your video folders, and I'm just gonna grab a random video. Now that I have my footage imported, first thing I'm gonna be covering is sound design. Now, sound design is one of the most important features in a video. So whenever I'm editing a video, first thing I'll do is I'll cut all the footage first, which is pretty easy to do. Now that I did all that cutting right there, this right here, where there's no wavelengths, this is called dead space. You do not want dead space. So I'm gonna delete the clips with dead space in it, and then I'm gonna connect all this. Yeah, so that's no dead space. That's good. Also, if you have clips like this where someone in the background is talking, you'll just want to turn the volume up because it's kind of harder to hear. So now I'm gonna get to adding sound design. And most of my sound effects I get from this Discord server right here, which is the Gorilla Tag editing server. I'll leave the link of it in the description. And after you join the server, come down to sound, and if you scroll all the way up, you can find a ton of sound effects and music. So a really useful sound effect is risers. I'm gonna add a select sound effect, and then I'm just gonna copy it, and I'm gonna put it on the change of every scene. Also, impact sound effects are really helpful. And if you want to fade something out, hover over the clip, grab this thing right here, and then drag it to how far you want to fade it out. So another type of riser type thing to use is a reverse ding. So go on YouTube, find a ding sound effect, copy a video URL, and then go to this website, cobalt.tools. So then get the link from the video, click on audio, and then paste the link right here, and click right here, and then it'll give you the sound effect. So after you add your ding, right click, change clip speed, and then click reverse speed, and then change the fade in to like around here. Now you have this sound effect, which I think really sounds good. But yeah, I'm not really the best at sound design. Alright, so now we're gonna move to visuals. So visuals is like color correcting and stuff, and brightness and gamma. So what you're gonna do, if you want to adjust the color and gamma and brightness and stuff, I'm gonna add this orb image because I don't know if I can move this around and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is color correct this. So what I'm gonna do is come down to the color tab. Make sure you have the actual PNG selected or the clip or whatever you want to color correct. And then if I want to change the brightness, I can have the Y selected and then grab this dot and drag it over here, and that changes the brightness. I'm just gonna use like one of these video clips as an example. So I'll grab this, and obviously it changes how much white is in the picture. So if I bring it all the way to the left, it looks super cursed. Same with the red and the green and the blue. And if I bring all of them up all the way to the left, it ends up looking like this, which is pretty cool. Color boost brings up the color, which I really like actually. Shadows decreases the shadows or brings more shadows. Highlights increases highlights or decreases them. Saturation is how much color I'm pretty sure can be in the image. Hue changes the color. Now if you want to make the color fade into no color, what you're gonna do is go in here and hover over where you want to put the keyframe. Right click and click add dynamic keyframe, and then move the thing a bit more. Add another dynamic keyframe, and then you can turn like the color or adjust more stuff. For this video, I'm gonna change the saturation, and now the video will fade out of color, which is pretty cool. Alright, now I'm going to show you animations and keyframes. And make sure you stay to the end of the video because I'm going to show you 3 effects that make your videos really pop. Alright, so keyframes should be pretty well explanatory. If I want to do a zoom in, I'm going to come up here, make sure I have inspector selected. I'm going to come over here to zoom, and I'm going to click this diamond right here. And then however many frames you're going to go by. If I want to do a simple zoom, I'll go 1, 2, 3 frames. And then I'll add another keyframe, and I'll zoom a bit. And if I want to zoom back out, I'll add another keyframe, 3 frames, and then I'll go back to 1. X means going to the left or right. Y means up or down. Rotation angle is how much it's rotated. The anchor point is what it rotates around. I'm gonna add this orb back here, and if I want this to slide up, add a keyframe right here, and click this arrow to go back to the previous keyframe, and then I'll slide it to go down here. Now if I play it, it slides up. Now if you want to make this slide more smooth, the 4th editing essential we're going to be going over is graphs. Now for graphs, you can either use the fusion tab down here, or you can use this little drop down right here. I'm going to be using the drop down because I just like it better. So if you don't see the Y position graph down here, it should be a bit visible, and just click on it. Now if I want to make it smooth, I'll right click this keyframe and click ease in. Now you have this dot right here. If I want to make it smooth, I'll make it look something like this. If you want to make it really smooth, drag the keyframe really far away, and then make the graph look something something like this. Graphs can be applied to zooms too. So I'll add a keyframe right here, go really far away, add another keyframe, zoom it, and now I'll do the really smooth graph. Now you can notice that. Before we go to the advanced text, I'll show how you can use graphs to make a simple text. What we're gonna do is come down here to titles, grab text plus, drag it in here. Then right here says title, go to settings, and drag the Y position down here, and bring the zoom up a bit. I'm gonna customize this text real quick, and then I'll show you how to use the graphs to make it pop in good. Got the first keyframe of the text, make a keyframe for size, and change it to around 0.086. Then you're gonna move around 3 keyframes forward, and add another keyframe, and change it to 0.09. So now you have that popping, but it doesn't really look smooth. So what you're gonna do is go to the Fusion tab, click Spline, click Template, and now you should have this. Hover over the keyframe, and then change this bar a bit. Click this, make sure your cursor is like backwards, click it, and then click this, and make it look like this. Now your popping should be way smoother. Now for the second to last editing essential is the advanced text, which is a text I use in my most recent video, which you should go watch by the way. Add your text. I'm gonna go to shading, click on 2, enable this, and then change the thickness to around 1.2 or 1.3. And click this arrow right here, make it a gradient. I'll show you how to change the color later. Come down here to filters and add a shadow and play around with these settings a bit. And now you're gonna add a glow. So search up glow in filters, add it, and then make sure you select alpha limits effect. So after you add that, play around with threshold, spread, and gamma and saturation. Now, if you want to change the color of the text, come down here to color filter, and you can change this to whatever color you like. I'm gonna use red. So once again, you're gonna add a keyframe and add the basic zoom and do all that again. Now that you have that, look up shake in the filters, add it, and add a keyframe for motion scale, and turn speed scale and motion blur all the way up. And then go about 8 keyframes forward, and then add another keyframe and turn this all the way down. Now you have that basic shake. Now if you really want to, go to settings, rotation angle, and change this to around there, and go a couple of keyframes forward, add another keyframe and change that to 0. Open your drop down bar again with the graphs, click on the rotation angle and add it ease in, and now you have it shake and rotate. Finally, I'll show you the 3 effects that make your video stand out. The first effect is the normal shake. I'm going to drag it to my clip, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the motion scale to around 600, speed scale to around 0.093, and now the shake should sound something like this, which I think is a pretty cool effect for your video. Now the second effect is chromatic aberration. On Premiere Pro you can easily add chromatic aberration, but for DaVinci Resolve it's a bit harder. For DaVinci you have to look up prism blur, add that to your video, change the blur strength all the way down, change aberration strength all the way up, change vignette size all the way down, vignette sharpness all the way up. The aberration distance is completely up to you, but since I have this aberration, you can see this effect of my color rubbing off onto the video. Now the final effect is bloom, also just known as glow. So look up glow in filters and drag it to your video. Now that you have the glow, change the threshold to somewhere around right here. The spread is completely up to you about how much you want to use, but I usually use the default setting. Some YouTubers use a certain color, like some dude who uses his own like red type of bloom. Now you can do that if you want, but personally I think it just looks better to use the white glow.
And the bonus tip is don't try to be someone you're not. I'm sure nobody likes a YouTuber that's trying to be someone else. The editing is just one part of your video. Let your personality be the rest.